Hey guys, I want to talk to you about becoming the shift. Be the shift. And I have to walk away because the kids are like, blah, 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 blah. They're being happy. They're not being like ugly or anything. They're just being noisy and kind of distracting. So I am just going to walk my trail out here. You guys can see I'm going to turn a little to brown, but that's not what we're talking today. We are talking about how to be the shift. You know, there's always like that stuff of like, be the change. I saw it just this morning, be the change. What if all you have to be is the shift? What if all you have to be is the shift and you don't have to be the change? And I'm sure you're probably like, what are you talking about? What's the difference between shift and change? So change is like the complete form of like, it's like after, being the change is like the aftermath. Everything has now changed. The shift is just a movement, like a shift of attention. Like it's like the movement that begins. It begins the change. Does that make sense to you? If it makes sense to you, can you kind of give me like a thumbs up so you, like, I know that you are getting me? Okay, so anyway, I have a story to tell you guys. This morning, it was like after breakfast, and Edwin looks at me. He's 7, and he's like, okay, Mama, set a 20-minute timer. It's time to get this place whipped into shape. And I was like, where have you been my whole life? That hit me out of like nowhere land. I was not expecting him to say anything like that because my entire life as a mom and a wife has been like, guys, okay, let's clean up now. Let's clean up. Guys, it's a mess in here. We need to keep our stuff picked up. But I've just been setting timers instead of being like, guys, like, you have to do this. I'll be like, okay, let's set a 5-minute timer. And Edwin would take that and he would run with it. He'd be like, hey, Mama, like, we didn't get it cleaned up in the 5-minute timer, so can you go ahead and start another timer? And I'd be like, absolutely, sure, honey. Inside, I'm like, what? Where did you come from? I created it. Kids aren't born just like knowing what to do and how to act. There's like nothing special about my kids. And there's probably nothing special about your kids that makes them like really good kids. It's whatever we invest into them. If my kids are showing poor behavior, I have to look in the mirror. And if my kids are showing really good behavior, then I look in the mirror and I'm like, thumbs up, girl, you're doing something right. They will get to an age where, they won't be so heavily influenced by mom, but right now they're not at that age. Right now they're extremely influenced by my personal choices. So I don't necessarily have to be the change. I just have to be the shift, okay? And it's the same for you. So it's been like, it was June that I went through the Fog 21 day Mom Fog Challenge, and really like that set into motion some different systems that I put into place. That's when I began the shift. So one thing that's required with becoming the shift instead of the change is patience and time. You can become the change and you can do it all yourself, or you can become the shift that gets this whole tribe moving forward. What if it's good enough to just be the shift? So I am sorry for that temporary break. So what if it's good enough to just be the shift? Like not having to be the change. Have you ever thought of that? Can you send me like that little like care emoji if you're like, wow, that's a comforting thought. We need to be thinking thoughts that motivate, inspire, encourage ourselves. Sometimes we're just so pushy with ourselves. We're just pushy and we don't give ourselves like the grace to be a human being instead of a human doing. And for me, it was like, wow, I became the shift, and now my 7-year-old is looking at me and saying, Mom, let's set a timer for 20 minutes. It's time we got this house in order. And it's like, yay, it was worth it to be the shift instead of the change. Because if I was the change, I would be doing it all on my own, but I was the shift. And so now I have this miniature tribe that I'm raising up to have good systems, So 21 day Mom Fog Challenge. I'm so excited. We're doing it. I'm doing it with 2 other women. I'm sure you probably have seen it. If you haven't seen it, then click on my profile. I announce all about how we are going to unfog our holidays with 3 of us experts. We're all going to be talking about different things. And you're going to be doing the 21 day Mom Fog Challenge on top of unfogging your holidays. So it's going to be like crazy exciting. Like, I'm really excited. People are just like pouring into the group. And they're inviting their friends, because if you invite your friend and they join the group, you get entered into a drawing to win $50. $50 gift card to Amazon, guys. Like, that's pretty easy way to make $50. And like, who wouldn't want $50 at Christmas time? So this video is not about that, but go check out my profile if you want to see about that. Kim, you're doing the 21 day Mom Fog, Unfog the Holidays Challenge, right? You're going to do it this time, right? She's so excited, she says. I know, I'm really excited. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be like amazing. So just consider that. Just walk through your day today and ask yourself, like, do I have to be the change or can I just be the shift? So what would you like to shift in your life? For me, a tidy house is really important to me. It's just like a brain clutter when there's like clutter in the house. Does anybody get me on that? Like, can I have a thumbs up? Like, when there's clutter, hi Katerina. When there's clutter, like, does it drive you like bonkers? It drives me bonkers. So for me, I wanted to shift that. And I wanted my husband and kids to start picking up their stuff. That's what I ultimately wanted. But instead of being like, if they would just, I was like, if I would just. And so I did it all. And like, I kind of like brought them along with me without pressuring them. Can you see that? Can you see how there's like a difference in being like, you guys should, and I can, and you can too? Like, do you see the difference? So now, like, Trey was really bad about leaving every article of clothing, all his shoes laying, pretty much anything he got it out, he would put it down instead of putting it away. And that really irked me. But I've noticed that like he's putting things away. I could have just kept putting his stuff away for him. But there's like this balance of like helping them put things away, but not like enabling them to be a slob. Does it make sense? Yeah, because like, if somebody did my jobs for me, I would just end up being like, oh, thank you for taking this over. But if somebody kind of like helps me along, then it helps me grow. Like Trey has helped me grow in areas like that by just kind of like helping me along. Because like he would always do like my techie stuff for me. And now he's kind of like, I'm like weaning myself off of him. And like, I can figure this stuff out too. Like I can figure this out, but he's still there as a support to me. And it's like this different, it's like a shift. But we get so keyed up, guys. We get so keyed up in just the daily grind that we don't even stop to think about our thoughts about our life. And our thoughts about our life are what is truly creating our experience and our perception of life. And as a life coach, that's what I do with people. We take a look at their life. We see like a goal or a dream that's like they've made no progress toward, or they feel stuck. They made a little bit of progress, but now they feel like they're backtracking. Like it's very just fun, honestly, to work with people and help them realize their full potential, realize their options. That's a big thing. So anyway, that's my little chit chat and tip of the day. So take it or leave it, folks, and have a great day.